On May 2nd, we'll see Teofimo Lopez defend his WBO 140-pound title against the unbeaten Arnold Barboza Jr. And it's clear from the press conference, these two do not like each other. In this preview, I'm going to look at each fighter's recent form, their stylistic strengths, and some of the key tactical questions that we'll have. So on that note, let's get right into it. Teofimo Lopez, the 27-year-old champion, has had a very mixed recent run of form. After a shocking upset loss in 2021 to George Kambosos Jr., who dethroned him by split decision, Lopez moved up to the 140-pound division, simply been rebuilding his momentum. He initially scored a nice TKO victory in his junior welterweight debut, then things started to take a turn for him. He had a tough outing against Spain's Sandor Martin, where Lopez really seemed to struggle against the slick southpaw mover, with many feeling he even lost the fight, with critics questioning if Teo still had that X factor, especially when the microphones caught him even doubting himself post-fight.
Bro, do I still have it? You do, man. Do I still got it? I got it. It's fine. Yeah.
However, he did answer back against the former undisputed champion Josh Taylor to become a two-weight division champion. However, since then, his form has been inconsistent. But at his best, Lopez is still a dynamic and dangerous fighter.
I'm the only world champion sitting here right now.
Barboza, at the age of 33, he enters the ring as an unbeaten challenger, riding into this with 2 impressive wins. Barboza is a great fundamental boxer, and although he isn't a knockout puncher, he's been consistently outpointing quality opponents. In the last year, Barboza decisively beat 2 top contenders at world level, including former champion Jose Ramirez and the talented southpaw Jack Catterall. That he's been active and in form, having had these fights in the last 5 months, will no doubt make him feel confident going into this, whereas Lopez is coming off a 10-month layoff. For me, Barboza's recent performances show a fighter who's peaking, confident, battle-tested, and increasingly comfortable in the high-level competition. While he hasn't scored a stoppage lately, he has shown he can control fights against top opposition with skill and ring IQ. And this is a bit of a fight of explosive talent versus consistency. Because of this, this fight does present an interesting clash of styles. Lopez's explosive boxer-puncher style versus Barboza's technical boxing approach. Let's start off with Teofimo Lopez, who is known for his tremendous counterpunching and his explosive knockout power, especially his overhand rights and left hook.
Lopez getting right to it. Wow! What a knockdown by Lopez! Father has been doing all of this damage, even with the right hand that he injured in the first round.
Again he goes down, and this fight is over.
Teo is quick on his feet and can seamlessly switch between slick boxing or a firefight. In fact, he showed in the Lomachenko and Josh Taylor fights, arguably his best opponents to date, that he can stick to a game plan and box smartly, using his speed, jab to outfox elite opponents. He's often at his best when he can lure opponents and explode with sudden counters, in my opinion. Just need to watch that knockout over Richard Comey. That's one of the great things about Lopez, is that he has great hand speed, reflexes, and one-punch power that can change the fight in an instant. He's also a very confident showman at times, which can intimidate and make opponents weary in terms of committing. For me, there's no denying he can become a bit predictable when coming forward, getting drawn into unnecessary brawls and battles on the inside, while we've seen him struggle to cut off the ring against pure boxers, particularly southpaws, and he himself can get caught out with counters following opponents in. It'll be fascinating to see what he does against Barboza. Will he take the counter-punching approach, or will he take the fight to him?
There's going to be a lot of I told you so coming from Teofimo and his father.
For Barboza, he's your classic technical fundamental boxer. Great jab, solid guard and footwork, along with being a very underrated combination puncher.
In front of his hometown fans and against a well-known fighter as Alvarado on the receiving end. Oh, some combinations by...
His style is more about using movement, timing, and boxing IQ to outpoint opponents, and he's very comfortable just working behind his jab, which he used very effectively to neutralize Ramirez's aggression and keep the crafty southpaw Catterall at bay. He's never been an overwhelmingly fast or flashy fighter. He's just very consistent. He keeps behind that tight guard, maintains good balance, and doesn't take many unnecessary risks, and he's shown he can be calm under pressure, despite his fiery appearance in the press conferences. You just need to watch the Ramirez fight, who tried to drag him into a brawl, but Barboza stayed disciplined and refused to get drawn into this game plan. And although he's not the biggest puncher, he does have a mean streak when he sees an opening, as he'll put together his combinations or sit down on his right hand. However, if you watch his fight with Sean McComb, you could see he had real trouble with the movement and speed. I wouldn't be surprised if Team Teofimo have taken notes from that. With those styles in mind, let's see how this fight can actually tactically work out. For me, this will be a battle of range. Lopez typically likes mid-range, where he can counter sharply, whereas Barboza will try and work from the outside with his jab at distance. If Barboza can establish his jab early and dictate a slower boxing-centric pace, it may very well frustrate Lopez as we've seen in the past. We've also seen Teofimo look less effective when an opponent gives him lots of lateral movement and a steady jab. Prime examples of this are the Sandor Martin and Ortiz fights, and I imagine Barboza will aim to replicate a stick and shoot approach, using the ring, picking spots with his jab and forcing Lopez to lead. If Arnold can be elusive and make Teofimo chase, this fight could very well go in his favour. On the other hand, Lopez has the tools to upset Barboza's rhythm. Teo is without a doubt the hardest puncher Barboza has faced to date, and the question I ask is how Barboza will react the first time Lopez lands flush on him. Lopez's best chance to take control of this is to force exchanges at mid-range. Unlike Ramirez, who mostly looks to try and pressure you in straight lines, Lopez can feint, use angles, and explode with gazelle hooks out of nowhere.
We should get back to his jab.
Left hook by
I think they need to stop it. They need to stop the
Down
fight.
goes Magdaleno.
Which can catch even the best fighters off guard. I think it's just more of a factor of his hand speed and timing. Teofimo will likely have the speed edge, and if he uses quick head movement to get onside with the jab, he can let his combinations go. We might see Teo attack the body early as well. Overall though, I do think this could be a tactical chess match at times, especially because of Barboza's style, and it may come down to if Teofimo's able to find the gaps with his explosiveness and hand speed. This is a fight I'm really looking forward to. It's a classic matchup of a proven star versus a hungry, unbeaten contender. In my opinion, Teofimo Lopez needs a huge performance, not just to keep his title, but to remind the world why he was once seen as boxing's next great talent, potentially even set up the fights with the likes of Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney in the future. For Barboza, this is the moment he's been waiting for years. With nothing to lose and everything to gain, he has the tools and confidence to make things uncomfortable for Teofimo as we've seen in the past. If Lopez can control the pace and land something big, it could be another statement win, but if Barboza stays disciplined and drags it into a technical battle, we might just be in for an upset. All will be revealed in Times Square on May 2nd. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to check out my other breakdowns for the fights that take place this Friday. This is me, Jamie from Boxing Life. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the fights when they come. And as always guys, I'll see you in the next one.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, May 2nd and 3rd, a knockout weekend of boxing. Garcia versus Romero and Canelo versus Skull. New York City, Friday from 6 p.m. Eastern. Garcia returns with Haney versus Ramirez and Teofimo versus Barboza Jr. Saturday from 7 p.m. Eastern. King Canelo faces undefeated Skull for the undisputed crown. May 2nd and 3rd, 2 huge fights. Pick one or go all in for only $90. Exclusively on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.